What's going on, everybody? I know y'all was thinking of me like I'm crazy because the game came out and I haven't even played it yet. I'm supposed to be streaming it. I haven't done that yet. Work's just been kicking my butt. Allergies are kicking my butt right now. And so I'm just going to go over these patch notes that they had for the event, the preview event that we have going on right now. It's not really like a preview event, but it's just like a early access for people that were founders of the game. And this is going to be like everything that changed in the game. After I go over this, I'll have a message that Snarf left for everybody. And at the end of this video, he left it in the Discord, and I'll have that timestamped if you just want to skip to that. It's a little quick video of him just expressing his feelings and thanking everybody. But if you guys want to hear that, I'll have that at the end. We're going to go over these notes, the changes on the update, and all that good stuff. We've been playing this. We've been making content for this game for about a year, a little bit over a year. So it's been a long journey to get to the point that we are at now. So let's go ahead and jump into these changes. Not even the same game, but it is. So this is welcome to the Wayfinder Echoes preview. We're incredibly excited to bring the Echoes update to our founders starting today. During this time, we'll be looking at bugs and feedback while we work towards a day one patch for new players when Wayfinder returns to Steam on June 11th, 2024. Please remember that we are still in early access and there are bound to be bugs and issues. As previously announced, no save data will carry over from last week's beta. Attempting to bring these files to the game will result in various quest and progression issues that we are unable to support. Now, they were trying to make it so you could transfer beta files over, but they weren't able to do so without causing a bunch of issues. What is the Echoes update? When online games such as Wayfinders reach the end of their service, they tend to disappear forever. This is the unfortunate reality when games lose funding, can't cover the cost of servers or staff, and face countless other challenges. Having all played titles that have gone through this cycle, we wanted to take a different approach. We cherish the world our team has created and the characters we've introduced to our players, and we don't want them to be lost in the gloom. Our goal is to leave players with a product they can enjoy indefinitely. This shift enables the game to exist perpetually. Players can download it to play solo or enjoy co-op gameplay with up to 2 friends. Wayfinder Echoes introduces significant changes from the previous version of Wayfinder. Those changes are outlined below. We have a nice little banner here. Patch overview, monetization and founders packs. All founders items, excluding currencies, are now available in game. These items will be granted to you upon completing your first entry into the Gloom. Reward Tower 1 and 2 are available in game for all player. Completing quests and objective grants keys, which can then be used to unlock rewards. All monetization has been removed from the game. All content is now unlocked in game via loot and rewards. They've added something called Founders Coins. Founders Coins will be awarded to players according to the total lifetime amount of Rune Silver they held in their wallet, including Rune Silver from Founders Packs. So 500 Rune to 2400 is going to be 1 coin. 2500 to 44 is 2 coins. 4500 to 6400 is 3 coins. And it's going to go all up to a max of 7 coins. Founders Coins can be spent on exclusive rewards like Wayfinder styles, mounts, and pets from a vendor in Skylight. And they do have an image here. Hold on one second. So here up on the screen, it's all the stuff you can get here. So a mask outfit for Sinja. Maybe it's the total outfit for Sinja. Outfit for Kairos, Venomous. This is a pet, I believe. Oops. This is another pet. This is a mount. And this is another pet. So that's 7 items right there that you get. Sorry for hitting the mic. So Founders Coins can be spent on exclusive rewards like, there are no other ways to get these items in game. Wayfinder tokens from Founders Packs are converted 1-to-1 to Founders Coins and are included in the amount you will receive upon logging in. For Wayfinders, Nis, Silo, and Windgrave are unlocked upon completion of the tutorial. There's new Wayfinder memories. You collect all 10 memories to learn about each Wayfinder's past before the Gloom. And collecting the 10 memories just to learn about the past isn't all. In the beta, we see that you get actual gear from completing them also. So you get like a special gear for the Wayfinder. and the gear that you get transfers over into the transmog system automatically. So it's like a cosmetic item and a piece of gear for that Wayfinder. New Wayfinder voices. You'll now hear your Wayfinder talk. Additional characters can be discovered through playing and also have guaranteed drops on specific bosses. These locations can be seen by visiting the discovery book in-game. Find and summon Kairos out of the gloom. Unlock the secrets of the deceivers to summon Sinja from her mysterious confinement. Eradicate the Night's Maw infestation to unleash the power of Venomous. And challenge the Bloodspawn to liberate Grendel from its grasp. So they're telling you where these particular ones are here in the notes. Without having, they say there's hints and then they tell you where to go. New Wayfinder rank. To incentivize players to experiment and branch out with their playstyle, it caps at 30 ranks. An account-wide XP bar that all Wayfinders can contribute to is what it is. Each rank grants a talent point to be spent in the talent tree. The talent tree has more than 30 nodes on it, so you can decide where you want to go with that. Certain ranks will also be given bonuses such as increased base stats, affinity points, echo capacity, and slots, and archetype-specific weapon masteries and defensive powers. Weapon mastery system has been removed and consolidated into the Wayfinder rank system. There's new talents to give players a way to customize their combat playstyle per Wayfinder, a diverse talent constellation tailored uniquely to each of the 3 Wayfinder archetypes. Wayfinders within the same archetype will be able to manage their own individual talents. There's also Grendel, an engine of destruction fueled by fury. Before the fall, he was an infamous warrior of the maze, a brutal veteran of 100 battles. He's more vicious than anything spawned by the gloom, but he's on our side for now because he's mercenary. So, the right coin, he can be against you. His passive is Blood Rage. Grendel enters into a Blood Rage when an enemy's guard is broken. While raging, Grendel attacks he does increase damage and movement speed, and he takes less break damage from incoming attacks. Tremor is a skill. He stomps the floor, sending out a shockwave in a line, dealing high break damage. Whirlwind, rapidly spin and strike all enemies around when moving for a short time. Mighty Leap, leaps for a short distance, damaging enemies around the landing point. And his ultimate is Berserker Frenzy, where he explodes with rage, dealing heavy break damage to enemies in a large area and causing Grendel to enter a Berserker Frenzy for 15 seconds. While frenzied, Grendel gains increased weapon power, ability power, break power, movement speed, and immunity to break damage. When the state ends, he explodes, dealing damage to enemies in a large area. You can see all the information about Grendel that I have in a video. The last video I posted was all about Grendel. We're going to talk about some of the changes to loot and progression. All cosmetic items and power items that we previously had are in-game drops with stats attached to a la a traditional ARPG. Increased drop rates of all items and loot across the board. Added hundreds of secrets to find in each location, all with rewards for exploration. The affinity cap increased to 25, and the third affinity perk unlocked at 25. I believe in one of the dungeons I was in, I found like a hidden wall with the light switch. You had to pull like the candle on the wall, and a hidden wall appeared with some loot in it. So there are hidden locations, but they do show you with the tab that you can interact with it. So just be on the lookout for that. Gloomstone costs for affinities have been reduced by 50%. Max equip level has been removed. Difficulty spheres have been removed, and player power will no longer scale down to any content. Lost zones and hunts now have a minimal and maximum power range that will auto-scale the content to players within that range, granting better loot as it rises. No minimum power level requirements to enter a lost zone or hunt. Crafting a relic accessory now creates it at the level of the current Wayfinder. And echo changes. Echoes are now uniquely equipped. You can only equip one echo from a certain creature. The crafting relic accessory is a huge improvement, I think, over the last version of the game, because there were like epic and legendary. I think there was legendary ones. There's epic ones, epic accessories that you had to craft to be part of a set. And they would only be at like level 1. And they would be like the weakest item you had, but your set would be like all high, like 30 something pieces. So it was really off balance in that. So that's really good that they did that with the accessories. Echo changes. I love these echo changes personally. I know some people might find some indifference in them, but I like the uniqueness they bring to the variety of forcing playstyles for the most part. Instead of people trying to game the system as they do, it's kind of helping with min-maxing more. So it says echoes are now uniquely equipped. You can only equip one echo from a certain creature. Slot types are now a requirement. For example, attack echoes can only be slotted into attack slots, and cost of all echoes have been reduced by at least 50%, but there's no cost reduction bonus to apply them to the same echo slot. And then to say cross and rush type echo costs have been reduced further. Echoes now drop at the appropriate content. Max rank is now 5. All rarities can reach rank 5. Capacity costs will no longer increase when performing echo fusion. Rebalance of echo slots types across the game. So the cost I thought was kind of high in the beta, and that's probably why, because the cost doesn't increase, it just remains the same. Rebalance of echo slot types on Wayfinders and weapons moves some echo slots from weapon to Wayfinder progression. Since weapons will be swapped out much more often, we want to reduce the time managing sockets when trying out a new weapon. The echo limit is now 800. Now, there's still a limit on there, I guess, to still help with performance of the game, but I feel like we'll be dusting echoes more often, so we probably may never see that as before. We were just stockpiling them up for some reason. So, consumable updates, simpler recipes, and reduced total number of consumables. There's a 30-minute duration that persists when traveling. There's one offensive, one defensive effect allowed at a time, and 3% experience bonus added to each consumable effect. Now, some potions do give you both, but that does mean you'll be able to take 2 different potions at the same time. And it also persists after you die too, if I'm not mistaken. So they might consider dying traveling, so the potions still persist after dying. It also pauses if you log off the game. So when you stop playing the game, it's not counting down. When you come back, you'll still have your potion, and because there is like a pause button now in the game too. So when you're searching through your menus, the timer isn't counting down either. New weapons. Weapons have undergone major changes from what they were before the Echoes update. Weapons have been converted to loot drops with fixed items and stats. They can be found as drops bought from vendors or as quest rewards. Weapons no longer level up, but drop at different level ranges. Weapon XP resonant caches have been removed. Each slot and random rolled each time you loot a new weapon. Rush and cross type echoes are fixed. So that means like your balance, your attack power, and your defensive echo slot might not be the same on all the weapons. So if you're trying to make a certain build with like a defense type weapon, but you like daggers, but you want defense slots, you have to wait for that defense slot to roll around. But your cross and rush type echoes, that slot will always be there. So if you have dagger with a rush slot, there's always going to be a rush slot around that dagger. And it usually happens like around levels. So like, I think it was like around level 7 or level 8, all of the weapons had like a cross slot on them. Players can own multiple of the same weapon. Awakening benefits all instances of the weapon. Awakening levels are now easier to achieve, and weapon essences have been removed. So right now, what you need to awaken them is just the parts you would normally, the additional parts that you needed to gather to unlock it. So you need like a bunch of the Viridian or Prismatic something, and then maybe the part from one of the bosses, something like that. Weapons that were previously cosmetic-only skins will remain the same. However, they can be found as loot throughout the game and applied in the style menu. So what happens is when you find a piece of armor, the armor also unlocks transmog, like in WoW. Also 10 new weapons. New armor system. All styles and personas that were previously only available for purchase in the store have been converted to armor sets with stat bonuses. Armor can drop, be bought from vendors, or received as quest rewards. Armor is collection-based, so you only have to find each armor piece once. Each Wayfinder will launch with 9 armor sets, and each set is made up of 5 individual pieces that can be mixed and matched. Once you add armor to your collection, you will also receive that style to customize the look of your Wayfinder separate from the gear that you have equipped. Additionally, each Wayfinder has 2 persona styles to unlock. You can unlock these via progression on that Wayfinder. Personas are purely cosmetic and complete skins. Each Wayfinder now has a few additional hairstyles. I believe they said that you had to ascend, like get all the way up, highest level you can go on the Wayfinder to unlock to unlock one of them at least. Expanded main story quests. Wayfinder story has been refreshed to better accommodate players who prefer to jump straight into the action or dive deeper into the lore at their leisure. Significant updates to existing content have interwoven our Call of the Void and Loose Threads live events into the main story of the game, and new quest content has been added to the new Frostmarch Overland area, leading to a grand finale in the Wayfinder's fight against the Gloom. New hunts, lost zones, and quests added throughout the storyline. So I know it says grand finale, but hopefully I'm hoping that you guys jump into the game, actually like it, and it does well, so they can add more content to the game because the story was far from complete. There's a whole slew of things that would have been in a live service that sounds like would have to be cut short or cut out. You know, it'd be like watching like your favorite anime season of a show that you liked. It only got like one season. What was that? Dead Man Wonderland. New Frost March. The Zone player's Deepwood Halt has been massively expanded. We're talking 3 times the size of Highlands. I want to be like Threeks. What was Deepwood Halt is now a hub in the newly added Overland Frost March. Players will find all of the things that were previously in Deepwood Halt, such as Greymorn, the Shrouded Woods, the Bone Orchid, the Hallowed Heart, and Baldoon Lost Zones. The quests that were previously in Deepwood Halt have been overhauled to utilize the new zone. There's 3 new world bosses, 20 plus quests and activities, and 20 new events. Marks event reward currency. Earn marks by completing events in Frostmarch. Marks can be used to purchase armor, weapons, cosmetics, and mounts from Warden Rust and Deepwood Halt. New Patrols quests. Patrol quests are repeatable content that you can find throughout the zone. Completion of these rewards marks. I wanted to talk about the new dungeon stuff. If not, there's a cool thing they have in the dungeons. Housing, jobs, and mutators. Housing. All housing items have been converted to loot drops throughout the game. Now when you find a housing item, you also receive the recipe to create more. 20 plus new housing items, increased housing item limit raised from 125 to 550. There's 500 for decorations and 50 for lighting items. Jobs now reward helper coins, and the helper queue has been removed. You get endlessly cycles as jobs are completed. There is no longer a wait period to pick up new jobs from the job board. Mutators. The 3rd slot will now provide unique boons to players based on which imbuement was slotted. Shadow's Embrace. You periodically erupt with shadow energy, launching tentacles that leech health from enemies. Gloom Collapse will remain as the only 3-slot mutator, which by default will always give the Shadow's Embrace boon above. Now, I wish they could have worked on more of those 3rd-slot mutators, as we do still have all of the other mutators, you know, the Poison one and the Solar and the Chaos. So it would have been cool to see what those actually did when you slotted them in slot 3. Post-game, we've rebalanced the content up to and including Alterok, the Deathless, and also added an end-game system for those who want to be challenged. New Mythic Hunts and Bounty Board. Once you have completed the story, the Hunt Master and Skylight will offer you additional challenges. The Hunt Master will offer mythic bounties to defeat certain hunts with a specific imbuement. Completing bounties will reward glory. Glory can be used to purchase the most powerful versions of any weapon in the game and also something a bit more heroic. Most hunts from the game have a mythic version to take down. 4 new mythic-only hunts. Mythic boss loot includes legendary armor sets, Mystic Rush Echoes, unique cosmetics, new weapons, housing items, unique mounts, Black Gloomstone, and of course, glory. Other notes, 10,000 bug fixes, updates, tweaks, and balance adjustments across the game. New difficulties. The difficulty setting can be changed at any time out of combat. Difficulties levels are story, normal, challenging, and heroic. You can swap wayfinders and equipment at any time, even within a lost zone. Co-op has been added. You can invite your friends directly through Steam friends list or when in game, select invite to party. Inventory item limit raised from X to Y. Co-op Gloom's Grass updated, so if you fail to revive a friend, it's not over. The player's Gloom Dagger will remain behind and can be interacted with to revive the player with a longer timer than the Gloom's Grass state. Oh, that's cool. Like before, the Gloom Grass state is when you were down and it had a little timer. Now the dagger would just be there on the ground. So like if you're in the middle of a fight, you can't get to them right now. You can kind of focus on finishing up the fight and then picking them up. The inventory item limit raised from X to Y. I wish they would have put a number on that because why not? Why not just say what the number is? Edit filters for selling items, performance improvements across the entire game, Steam Deck verification, UI overhaul game-wide, updated achievements, crossplay is no longer supported. So look, in the dungeons, when you run them, there's a vendor inside the dungeons as well you can come across, and that vendor inside the dungeon will also sell housing items and mounts using the currency that you can find in those dungeons. For example, if you're in the like the Aurelian Ruins dungeons, Codex halls and all that, you can find a vendor there. He has a mount, he has pets, he has housing items, and he takes halcyon orbs to buy those. So I think that's kind of cool. Some known issues: attempting to start the game with a fight stick or a flight stick, or other non-traditional game controllers will result in it not working. Please unplug all the controllers to start the game. Sorry, guys, you are not going to be playing it with a banana. There's also some other information here that I wish they told us, because there are some notes, but maybe those will be in the final June 11th patch notes. Like, there's a lot of things going on with the weapon changes that I talked to you about in one of the other videos. You know, the buffs and bonuses, the debuffs that happen to like some of the sword and shield and stuff like that. Also, like I think that was it. But yeah, all those buffs and stuff weren't mentioned here. But maybe, like I said, maybe in June 11th when they have there'll be a more full list, because there's another area, there's another Wayfinder to be found and all that good stuff. Co-op clients can't respect their talents in co-op. They can respect in solo or as a host. Co-op chance that talent connected lines won't light up. Co-op changing Wayfinders while in down state will cause armor to be unequipped and in-game character to be invisible or missing. Steam Deck tutorial videos plus images are not scaling correctly. Map cannot pan through the southern portion of the Highlands map. There is a chance that loot beam rarity indicator drop from the enemies won't match the actual loot rarity. Quest markers. The objective quest marker on the tab for quested to avoid dungeon with the mutator doesn't have a marker. Hunt game crashes for slivers. Mythic hunt if player abandons it during cloak phase. Who the heck is Sliver? Is that like Riven? They also have that little apostrophe in their name. The Gloom Collapse visuals disappear when the player teleports to any other checkpoint during the Unraveling Aurelian expedition. Ultra-Wide monitors display incorrectly. To fix this, you got to go into the program files and add a whole bunch of lining right here. I'll scroll up so you can see it. So yeah, that's all of the stuff we have right now going on with this patch for May 31st. Now I'm sure there's going to be another update coming on June 11th when the game goes into the full early access. Like I said, this particular pre-early access is pretty much for those that got into the game when it was in its previous state, and they're testing out a bunch of stuff, fixing bugs, making changes. So when it does do that June 11th launch, it'll be into that early access. It'll be more of a completed, well-rounded, better working game than it is right now. So hopefully, I'm hopeful with the team and with a lot of people in the Discord that's been in the comments that want the game to succeed and actually get like a little revival going on. They're also working on like a hosting system, like a service list system and matchmaking. So that's gonna actually increase the replayability and playability of the game, especially in co-op with other people. And the game is fun. It's not like the game isn't a fun game or it's tedious or it's repetitive. Like, a lot of stuff is really good. So I think it has a chance to kind of outshine a lot of similar co-op games like that when people get to get their hands on it. And we'll just have to wait until the 11th. It's like 2 weeks before we get to see that happen. But have you had the chance to jump in yet? I've been kind of on the sidelines, unfortunately, this weekend. Hopefully next weekend I'll start the journey with you guys and go through the story mode. And then as we go into the higher content, I'll start playing with viewers and such. But yeah, let's jump into that video that Snarf left. Thank you guys for being here with me on this journey, watching the content. If you have any questions, put them down below in the comment section. And I'll see you guys in the next video. Watch this one coming up.
All right, everybody. That was a hell of a day. So, just want to say it's exciting. It's hopeful. You never know with these things if it's gonna turn out the way you hope. But hanging out in a lot of streams, getting to see all of you guys experience all the new stuff and feel what it feels like legitimately. It's pretty freaking awesome. Like, I mean it, the amount of work from everybody on this team to turn this game into what it's been in 3 months is freaking crazy. All of this started in February, and now here we are. And I'm hopeful. I'm really hoping that things can, turn around and people give it a chance. And it sounds like that's what you guys are making happen. So thank you from the whole team. It means the world to us. It's given us the chance to follow our dream, which is make games and do all this stuff for, you know, it's not saving the world, but it's making the world even more exciting place to be living in. So that's why we do what we do, and I want to thank you, and especially thank everybody who is taking the time and writing those reviews and been reading through them, and it means a lot. A lot of work goes on this, and thank you. So keep it up. We'll be keeping around. But I'm gonna call it a night. I'll see you guys on the flip side. Thanks, everybody. See you soon.